Steve-O.
Yo.
Hey man, it was a good weekend for NBA basketball. We had some interesting games on Saturday, bunch of games on Sunday, including a victory for the Chicago Bulls, which felt good to get some revenge against the Pistons. And I kind of want to talk about the most surprising and disappointing teams so far this season. So we'll get into those topics right after the intro.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's the word, NBA basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central. It's your boy Big Bro. We got Steve-O Speaks in the building. Y'all already know, hit us up at NBA Central Pod on pretty much every social media platform. And y'all should be following us everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, and what's the other one? TikTok. We don't got no NBA. We ain't got no NBA dances, you know what I'm saying? But y'all can follow us on TikTok. You did. Steve-O, it was a good weekend, man, for basketball.
Yeah.
Saturday we had a couple of games. I can't believe this. But I knew the Magic were going to be a better team this season, but they went and beat the Bucks pretty bad on Saturday night.
Yeah. We said, we knew they was gonna get better, but to hand them that type of win was kind of impressive. It was pretty impressive. I mean, we all know that Bucks got little issues when it comes to things. For one, that bench is something we definitely got to talk about later on because that bench is just not looking up to par. But for the most part, they came in, handled business. We know they was going to be scrappy. The length was going to be a problem. So to be honest, when this team actually become one of those teams that is a real contending threat against the rest of the league, that's the type of team that's going to give the Bucks fix because of their length and athleticism. So, and that's what you
Yeah.
seen on Saturday night.
And not surprisingly, the Celtics took care of the Raptors. The Heat and Hawks, they have their own little rivalry out in the Southwest. The Heat took care of the Hawks, 117-109. And the Warriors, after starting off pretty hot, they've been losing a few games. The Warriors fall to the Cavaliers at home. And it wasn't even like if Donovan Mitchell went crazy. It was
Well,
just
the whole starting five went crazy for the most part.
right. They did. Max Strus is starting to find his legs up on him, and they got contributions from the whole starting five. And then off the bench, Karis LeVert did his thing, and that was enough to put them over the Golden State Warriors, who only got contributions really from Steph Curry in this game particularly. And I think that's the game that
Yeah, I heard.
Draymond got kicked in the nuts.
Yeah, man, it's that, and it's a lot of things going around there. Like, bro, Clay looking bad, dog.
Yeah, it looks like he's never going to be back to pre-knee injury Klay Thompson. He'll have flashes and moments where he'll go off because he's capable of it, right? Like anybody is. But at the end of the day, it's just, you lose a step defensively, you lose a step offensively too, because Klay Thompson's game, while he could shoot, he could go to the basket too,
Yeah, he
He,
definitely could take it off the dribble.
right, and he had a decent first step. He'd go to the basket. He'd probably catch a body or two every once in a while, but finishing at the rim was important for him, and getting free throws was important as well. And it just doesn't look like he's rounded back into form. Even after they won that championship 2 seasons ago, last season he didn't look right, and then this season he's still not looking too good.
It was the unfortunate circumstance with it that, but hey, it is what it is. That's what you got Kaminga and Moody for. So apparently they got to step up, which they kind of been, but we need them to step up a little bit more, especially Kaminga.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So that was a pretty good Saturday. We didn't get a chance to recap any of those for you guys yesterday. So quick little recap from Saturday. And then last night, the Knicks, man, they're starting off pretty well. Like, they're gonna play defense as a Tom Thibodeau squad. But they're offensively getting rounded into form too. Julius Randle is shaking off that abysmal first week of the season that he had where he was shooting historically bad for a first team all defense type of player or all NBA type of player over the last 2 out of the last 3 seasons or such. So for them to go out and play as well as they've been playing, him and Jalen Brunson been carrying this team 129-107 over a Hornets team that's been playing pretty decent basketball as well.
Yeah, well, Yeah, I give him that. I was going to just say it's really just LaMelo playing well because that's really what the circumstance of that team is. Like to me, at this point, they need to really consider looking at some valuable veterans that they can add to this team because I just don't see them winning many games with this squad. Like, yeah, they're talented and the coaching is not the best. So if they was to get like a valuable second or third option that's a vet, I feel like that can help this team just mature just a little bit more. So when it's time for them to start making steps in the direction of becoming contenders, it could be a smoother transition.
And it's crazy because they did have Kelly Oubre Jr.
Uh-huh.
They pretty much just let him go, and hopefully, a
They,
guy.
but to be honest, they wasn't really using him right. They really was just using him as a spot up shooter.
Yeah, yeah. Speedy recovery to Kelly Oubre Jr.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that's nuts
crazy.
too that he got hit by a car, man. That
That's
is
crazy.
absolutely nuts. The Brooklyn Nets, man, they're playing 500 basketball. Mikal Bridges is doing his thing out there, and they already have a bunch of scrappy players. Period. With damn, I just had his name in my
Cam,
head. Cam Thomas, but he's been injured lately. But Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith. These guys are out there just being good glue guys, great role players, putting the ball in the basket when need be, and they're playing well. And the Wizards, we didn't expect them to do well anyway.
nah. Like we just thought they was gonna put up some nice points every now and then, but it is what it is when it's gonna have point. But you can't be getting no damn 12 points from no damn Jordan Poole from this team.
So the doggone Clippers, man, I think they started off 3-0, and they haven't won a game since they traded for the
Ah,
I am the system, Mr. the bearded one himself. It's not like he's been just playing completely terribly, but at the end of the day, just the addition of him on the team just hasn't proven to be beneficial at all. And Paul George seemed to be suffering the most, even though last night he played well with 26, 7, and 7. Uh, Prior to that, he's been having a terrible time adjusting to the James Harden trade.
I told you y'all sealed y'all fate with this move. Like I don't know what y'all thought y'all was gonna do. Like y'all have the firepower already. You just added another firecracker to bolster up your explosion even more. Like I said, I feel like you capped on what you could have did here because, like I said, it wasn't talent was never the issue when it comes to this team. Coaching wasn't an issue.
It was health.
It was mainly health. We all knew what this team could do when they on the floor healthy, playing at the same time. And for the most part, when we seen them play together, that's when they had their best game. But would you add in a whole nother player that's not only his take away his attitude alone, the way he played basketball just never fit with this team. He's ball dominant. You eventually got to put him or rest on the bench because that starting together is not working and it's not going to work. But yeah, it just to me, I don't know what you thought you was about to do coming in with like everything. You got to stop doing moves that look good on paper because this was just an on paper good move.
But
But
this
to
one
be
didn't
honest,
even.
on paper it didn't look good
I
to me.
say it didn't even look good on paper.
Right.
Like they basically should have looked at what happened to the last two teams and basically the Brooklyn team. But you can even look at Philly. But in Philly he was all right. He led
Yeah.
the league in assists, so on and so forth. He could have got an All-Star
He
bid.
better with a damn MVP on his team.
But the thing is, though, look at what happened to Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn had a nice squad, and they traded away solid pieces to get James Harden over there, and he basically just broke the continuity of that squad. And that's what's happening with the Clippers. Like they had a good team with Powell and one of the Morris twins and all of that. And Russell Westbrook was playing really well in that starting point guard position. It just doesn't make sense why Ty Lue and those guys would have even wanted James Harden to come over there because now James is making excuses and saying things like, it takes me about 10 games or so to get acclimated. Nigga, if you the
What the
system,
fuck ever, bro?
bro, if you are the system, then you shouldn't need to get accoladed or acclimated.
Bro, he's so full of shit, bro. Like, bro, nobody tell bro. If you've been playing this whole time, you wouldn't have to goddamn get ready. But no, you gotta get ready because you sitting here talking about I don't want to play for no liar. You the biggest fucking liar in this goddamn league.
Yep. And last
God,
night they
bro.
lose to the 1-win Grizzlies team,
That's how you know you
105.
huff. And in the clutch situation, what you do? Airball, you
Airball.
weak bastard.
Airball. We gonna move on though
I ain't finna
because
go with gold because
we
he
can keep
weak.
talking.
I ain't finna waste my time on weak motherfuckers.
Hey, the Sixers 8-1 after beating the Pacers 137 to 126, and the greatest benefactor of the departure of James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, 50 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists
Hey, what we
last
say,
night.
Kev? What did we say
We
last year?
knew it. He was holding him back.
We said it.
He was
We
holding him
said
back.
it.
We knew it. So it is what it is. You know, it is what it is in that regard. And then you got the Heat defeating the Spurs. It's gonna be a learning curve for Victor Wembanyama, and he's been going against good centers lately. Ever since they took those 2 games from the Suns, I think they've lost 4 games in a row. The Spurs have. Let me do real quick and see what Victor numbers were last night because Bam
Yeah,
definitely went
it
off
was he finished with 18 and 11, so he had a double,
and
but
7 assists,
and 7 assists, but he shot the ball not the best. He was 8 for 22, 2 for 9 from 3, and
7
if
turnovers. That's
7
not good.
turnovers for sure. And I could tell like what he finished. I didn't finish watching the game, but I just knew what type of game it was trending. They towards the middle or the end of the third, he still had like 11 points. So I was just like, it's not gonna be your game today when it came towards the point side of the ball, but I at least expected every time I've noticed that they lose games is not when he's playing his best defense. He only had a steal and a block. When he
Hmm.
has multiple blocks and maybe multiple steals, that's when it carries over to even more scoring, or even if it's not, that just carries on to winning. So I think once he realized that defensively wise, that gets him going and it helps the team out tremendously. That's when you're gonna see a lot of more win totals in the Spurs win box.
Yes, sir. Now, the Dallas Mavericks took on the um the New
Pelicans.
Orleans Pelicans last night, and Luka and Kyrie Irving went crazy,
And
combining
turned
for
them into sofrito.
combining for 65 points between the two. That's crazy coming from your backcourt. Looking at 24 for 40. Let's see. Yeah, they shot lights out. They shot lights out. 24 for 38 combined too. They both hit 11 out of 19 threes. If they play like this consistently, man, Dallas is going to be a bigger problem than they already are. They're sitting at 8-2, and they took care of business last night, man. I love to see it. I love
Yep.
to see
They about to be the thumbnail and doggone
it.
and title. Is they the team to beat? Do they look like the team to beat? Because as far as I'm concerned, right now it's early, but they look like the team to beat. Luca look like he's the current MVP. Kyrie ain't saying nothing. He just hooping, and everybody else around them. Like I said, Gary. Even though Gary didn't do, his name is not Gary Grant. Grant Williams didn't do much last game. To be honest, he didn't do nothing at all. But I feel like Grant Williams and DJJ was sneaky good signings, and they've
Yep.
been doing a lot of work for him. Of course, you know what you're gonna get from Derek Lively Jr. and everything, the Morris, but everything. But yeah, are they the team to beat?
That's a question. We're gonna have an episode on that one for sure. Now we got the Nuggets losing to the Rockets, and when we talk about the surprising
Bruh.
teams, obviously we're gonna talk about the Rockets. So we won't say too much at this moment, but beating they're on a 6-game winning streak. The Nuggets are. That's pretty big. That's pretty big for this young team. And
Yeah,
Sengun was out there. Look, Joker had 36, 21, and 11. Sengun had 23, 8, and 5. Now, obviously, Joker had the better individual game, but I'm sure the Rockets will take that W.
for sure. Like there's, I was just about to say before you started, like there's when you get a stat line from Joker like that, 9 times out of 10 you lose in the game. So the
Hmm.
fact to bring you out this game not only tells me that you're coach well, but y'all buying into what y'all coaching is and quickly. Like we all knew that coming into the league that Jabari Smith wasn't a great defender. That motherfucker a defender now. He ain't the greatest, but he plays defense, and he is contagious. You got Brooks out there, he being contagious. He making Sangoon play, and they doing all this stuff without their rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So like, who knows what they're gonna do without his rookie Tyree Eason just came back and everything. So, you also Jeff Green being the veteran of that team, stepped up big with 15 points last night. Got to give him credit on that. Hey, whatever they doing with Houston, hey, Houston is a heavy front office. Let me say, Houston front office a heavy favorite from winning front office of the year
Yes, sir.
or executive, whatever they give them.
Executive,
Yeah,
yep. The Bulls took care of business versus the Pistons. The Pistons are on, I believe, a 7-game losing streak now.
yeah.
After beating the Bulls early in the season, the Bulls get their revenge. And what was DeMar DeRozan's best game? Nikola Vucevic had a good game as well. Bulls moved to 4-6. If you guys want to see any more coverage on the Chicago Bulls, hit up Chicago Bulls Central or the Shot Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys.
Oh,
We will
bro.
be live tonight as the Bulls take on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. Now, the Phoenix Suns have been struggling. Even though Bradley Beal is back, they still losing games. KD with 28, 9, and 4. The Suns fall to the Oklahoma City Thunder 111 to 119. SGA went crazy last night with 35.7
A
boards and 4
snake.
assists. A
He a
beast.
snake. Like
And now,
that's the way I guard. Like he's unguardable because he's like a
mhm.
snake. He just glide through people. Like it don't matter. Like no matter what. Like if you try to beat him physically, he just gonna bounce off you. Fit through. He like a running back. He just fit through holes that you don't. That's not there, and then make a contorted layup. He's like, bro,
And he's just so
he
under control. He's so under
so under
control.
control, so poised.
He remind me of JID Jid from Dreamsville,
Mm.
a young rapper that's just super talented and can skate on a song with anybody. I done heard JID get off with J. Cole. I done heard him get off with Benny the Butcher. You know what I'm saying? Like it just don't matter who he on a song with. That dude takes care of business. That's who SGA
He
reminds me of.
remind me on basketball fans before Paul George can shoot. He remind me of Paul George.
Oh yeah, I remember that Paul George crossing people over, getting to his spots.
Mm-hmm.
He caught a lot of bodies too, though. Now the Warriors, they're coming down to earth. Steph Curry, 38 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, but Anthony Edwards took care of business versus the Warriors. Timberwolves moved to 7-2 with a 116 to 110 victory. And honestly, the Warriors are the big bros that don't realize that the little bros ain't really scared of them no more. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
just listening to how Draymond Green was talking to Anthony Edwards
Bro.
last night, and Anthony Edwards responding like, "Family, nobody even thinking about you, Joe. Like, going somewhere with that nonsense." You know, it's just like, come on, Draymond Green, you got that contract out of a legacy. That was a legacy contract. That was of what you've done for me in the
A
past, not
loyalty. Yeah, right.
right, not a what have you done for me lately contract. No other team was gonna pay you $100 million, my guy. Y'all earned it. You won your championships. But these other teams, they hungry. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're hungry, and they don't give a damn about no Draymond Green or your mouth or if you're ready to fight or whatever, bro. So relax.
Yeah, and you play them Tuesday again. You got to back to back with them. So hey, you better return the favor. All that stuff you're talking about.
Real talk. And in the last game of the night, the Lakers, they got a scratch and claw for every victory, but they got another one. They improved to 5-5, 116-110 victory over the young Blazers. Anthony Davis finally showed up, 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists last night.
Yeah, he ain't had no choice. LeBron was out, so he definitely had to be the number one for that team. And I ain't gonna make a big deal about it, but it's still to me a little bit concerning that you still gotta fight your claw your way through this team. Like they're 3-6. Don't get me wrong, they're not a terrible team, but they're not a good team either. So I just kind of expected them to have their way with this team, and they just didn't. They couldn't get controller Grant, who played a pretty good game, ended with 23 points, 8 for 17, and the whole starting five pretty much played their game tonight. But yeah, I'm glad that Davis decided to show up for sure. Cam Reddish had another good game as well. It was finishing with 18 and 7, 7 from 10 from the field. But I think if they had somebody else there to score 20, which Reeves was near, Cam was near, um, it wouldn't have been that close. But hey, it's the beginning of the season. Like you said, you still kind of dealing with injuries. LeBron, we saw him bump knees with KD. We knew he was gonna be out there next game. So hey, as long as y'all got the W, that's all that matters.
Facts. So there's your games from last night. There's 4 games tonight. We'll definitely recap those tomorrow morning. And before we get up out of here, Steve-O, just real quick, man. So the surprising teams of the league. Most teams have played about 10 games. A couple of teams have still only played 9, but the majority of the league has played 10 games so
Mhm.
far. So I'll give you mine in the Eastern
How
Conference.
many are you doing? 3?
I'm just gonna do one for the Eastern
Okay.
Conference, and two for the Eastern Conference. My
Okay.
number one is the Orlando Magic. The most surprising team for me, the fact that they're above 500 and they've beaten some good teams in the process. To get to 5-4 and to be outside of the play-in tournament is big for those guys because last season we know they started off like 3-14 or something like that, and they had to scratch
Hmm.
and claw just to even become relevant toward the end of the season. But they're starting off better just so they can position themselves to see what they're going to look like at the end of the season. And then my second is the Philadelphia 76ers sitting at 8-1, better than the Boston Celtics, better than the Milwaukee Bucks, who everybody just crowned the Eastern Conference Finals. And obviously it's still too early to know, but everybody just basically assumed that those two teams would meet up in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the Philadelphia 76ers is like, hold on, fam, hold your horses. We still got the reigning MVP on our squad. We got a young point guard that's ready to play, and he's been handed the reins for real. And they're playing some really good basketball under Nick Nurse.
For sure. I agree. I would say mine would be 76ers and the Knicks.
Okay, I ain't
And
mad
the
at that.
reason the Knicks is because even though they don't look like they didn't make any big moves, they still feel like because of another year of training camp underneath each other, the cohesiveness is starting to gel a little bit more. And as long as they can stay healthy, I feel like they are closely probably gonna be one of the top 3 best teams in the league.
Now, two of the most disappointing in the Eastern Conference come from the Central Division for me. It's got to be the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Milwaukee Bucks.
I couldn't say it any better. That was my 2-2.
Because the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, they're dealing with injuries. Dame Lillard is out, but you're wasting efforts from Giannis. The other day he had a 50-point loss. Last night he had basically a triple double loss. Chris Middleton needs to step up. Brook Lopez needs to step up. It's almost like they just assumed that Damian Lillard was going to be healthy for the whole season, but he hasn't really
Hmm.
played a healthy season in years now. At this point, I mean, not too many players have. So you got to overcome stuff like that. Adrian Griffin seems to be a little bit in over his head right now. They got rid of their coach, their championship winning coach, and replaced him with Adrian Griffin, who's basically a journeyman assistant coach. He has his opportunity here, though. Is he going to have a Joe Mazzulla type of year, or is he going to, fade to the background? Because they're sitting at 5-4. It's not like they're just losing every game, but
Hmm.
they got some work to do, especially with Dame Lillard out. And
I definitely agree.
Cleveland too, man. They're under 500, and everybody thought that they were going to be better, especially adding shooting. Uh, Donovan Mitchell. We expected Mobley to take a step forward, and so far
That's
it
the
just
thing.
hasn't been happening.
I said that's the thing for me. Like I really thought Mobley was going to keep taking more and more steps, and I feel like that's what Mobley is going to be the key of what this team really does as a whole squad in the playoffs or whoever the case may be. And he's just not taking that step. I just don't think Donovan Mitchell is the type of guy you need or want to lead you down the path of contendership. You just don't do it. He's
Yeah,
too small. He's not that efficient when it comes to shooting, and he just very ball dominant. And
yeah.
it is what it is.
He doesn't do enough other things well either to make up for what he lacks offensively. At least some players, like if they shoot too much, they may still go down and play defense.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that. So we'll see. Clearly, it's only 10 games into the season. We'll see now over in the Western Conference. My most surprising teams, like you can just throw a rock and hit one of these teams, but it just Dallas, Minnesota, and Houston, especially Houston.
You
Like
scared
Houston's
them, yeah.
they're the most surprising. 6-game winning streak got the starting off 0-3, beating really good teams in the process, believing in themselves, having faith. They haven't won on the road yet, so all their 6 games have been won at home. But you got to win the games that's in
Listen,
front of
just
you.
listen to this. This mug just beat at the last 5 games is Kings twice,
Hmm
Lakers, Pelicans, Nuggets.
That's good, bro. Like that's
That's crazy.
that's insane. Now all of those were home games, but that don't matter. And then they're on a 6-game winning streak, but so is Minnesota. And they started off 1-2, and they've rattled off 6 straight wins, and they've beaten good teams in the process as well. Anthony Edwards seems to be coming into his own. You're getting strong contributions from Karl Anthony Towns, and honestly, I think Minnesota's kind of like, hey, whatever we can get from Rudy Gobert, we'll take. But this team, it revolves around Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns.
For sure. Yeah. And even then, I'm starting to hear some rumors that like they was thinking about moving from Cat, but they like, bro, you ain't getting no first round pick for Cat. You ain't getting much for Cat. So I think they're
Yeah.
gonna end up keeping Cat.
And Dallas Mavericks, 8-2, right there behind the Denver Nuggets that got the same record. But the Dallas Mavericks coming into the season, people just didn't know what they were going to get from this squad based on how they ended last season. But I think over the summer, Jason Kidd was able to get Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic to figure out how to play together. And, getting Derek Lively, Seth Curry, those are big moves as well for them. And, of course, we talked about Derrick Jones Jr. and Grant Williams. Like, they shored up their role players to a point where they can honestly contribute better than Christian Wood did, and a couple of other players, Dorian Finney-Smith. Those guys are gone, and they replaced them with some pretty solid role players. I like what I'm seeing from the Dallas Mavericks to start the season.
Yeah, like I said, he must have heard the whispers. Everybody saying Luka might not be the best player on that team, and he came out, been going berserk every single game. And yeah, like I said, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm just sitting back and watching that at this point.
Now, most disappointing, like I know some people want to say the Phoenix Suns, or some people might even want to say the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't really have a problem with the slow starts from them, just considering injuries like CJ McCollum's out. Phoenix Suns have had Booker and Bill out at different points in and out of the lineup already. Clearly, KD can't do it by himself. He never was able to. But I'm not going to say the Clippers just yet either, because they just traded for James Harden. But the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies, two teams that were fighting for playoff spots last season in a very crowded Western Conference, are sitting at last and second to last place in the Western Conference right now. Like the San Antonio Spurs and Portland Trail Blazers are better than both of these teams right now. I didn't expect that to be the case coming into the season, even though it's early, even with Ja Morant being out. I just expected the Memphis Grizzlies to play better and the Jazz to play better as well.
Memphis for sure. I don't know about Jazz. I just expected Jazz to be what they was gonna be, but Memphis for sure. Like I said, we already talked about it. I feel like Tyrese is the reason why they're not clicking on all cylinders.
Tyus Jones, yeah.
And plus, their two main big men besides Jaren is out. So, hey, you're gonna look bad after that. So, it's up to them to wait, see if they can hold out till Ja come back. But if I was them, I'd be looking for another big man right about now.
Anybody else disappointing in the West for you?
Not nobody we ain't named yet.
Okay. There you guys have it. It's a long episode, too. So take your time with it, guys. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us over here on NBA Central and with the entire Chi-Town Sports family. Don't forget to catch me, Steve-O, Haize, Bobby, and C-Dub, the greatest announcer on YouTube, tonight as the Bulls take on the Milwaukee Bucks out there in Deer Country. We're going to get up out of here, man. Anything else, Steve-O?
No, sir.
We're going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.
This has been a presentation